What value do I find in studying the history of missions? I've never taken a lot of time to really look at the history of how many missionaries went on a mission and how they, you know, I never really studied how different missionary groups went to this place or that place. But I do believe understanding and studying the history of missionaries is actually very, very important. And for two reasons, I think we should learn about how how effective missionaries are in spreading the gospel and the response that they get. But I think we should also look at how missionaries impact the culture that they go to, the culture, the nation, the people groups that they are traveling to. I When I was an undergrad, I definitely studied a little bit about missionaries and where they traveled in some of my classes. And actually, in the curriculum that we use at my church for our children, actually, in every lesson, at the end of the lesson, there is a story about a missionary and their experience and their work. So I do believe it is very important for us to understand. I think it's good, just like, we study history, church history, to understand how we got to where we are. It's the same way for us to study the history of missionaries. I think it's good for us to look at, what people groups that they strategically go after, what methods that they use to spread the gospel, how did they meet the specific needs of or how do they introduce Jesus in a way that met the needs of the people they were preaching to, right? Did those people that they went and spread the gospel to, did they go and spread the gospel? Did they share the gospel to groups around them, right? How do we, were missions in Europe different than missions in different countries in Africa? Are missions in different countries in Africa different from missionaries from mission work in Asia, right? How about missions to the United States, right? We still have, I went to a church with a brother who saw himself recently as a missionary to America. It's good for us to see, not only how missionaries work and how effective they were, but maybe how ineffective they were, right? What didn't work? What were certain approaches didn't advance the kingdom of God? I also think it's important to look at, like I mentioned before, how missionaries impacted a culture, right? Or how they impacted the culture positively, and even how they impacted a culture negatively, right? They bring disunity and discord to a certain part or a nation that they were traveling to. Even if they had good intentions, did they bring the destruction, right? So just like we study everyday American or world history, just like we study anything, I think it's very, very important for us to really grasp how missionaries have worked over time, how they contributed to society in different ways, right? Just so we can know what to do going forward, right? Like if we look at the history, and we always have this saying where we say if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat it, right? It's important for us to learn and understand how missionaries have worked over the years and how they will continue to work over the years. And really, as Christians who are called to go, and as Christians who are called to sin, it's important that we look back and see, okay, these are ways that are effective. These are ways we can build on, or maybe even these are ways that these are the ways that we need to avoid, right? So it's extremely important that we understand the history of missions. Again, my name is Joseph Alexander, and this is my submission.